You're not going to get that in a debate. And so somebody who's like punch, 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 they're just looking for the other person to make a mistake. And so it has some value perhaps, but you're not going to get any very deep. You're going to stay very surface level.
What you end up getting instead are people who want to have debates or interviews on this topic and that topic, which are often topics that presuppose an enormous amount of background and somatic and historical,
and leads to conflict, right? Because people want to say what they want to say, and they don't realize that beneath this is a presupposition you got to work out, and you're just talking past each other.
Some of it is just as you said earlier, the lizard brain, where people really just want to see verbal sparring against a background of pseudo intellectual engagement. And if that's what you're looking for, then I think you got a little bit of that certainly from the debate, where people who are just a little bit interested in philosophy want to watch a debate like that, maybe for the same reason someone who has a passing interest in football wants to watch the Super Bowl, and you just want to see your team beat up the other team. You're not that interested in the technicalities of football or the history and so forth and so on.
So
right?
Do you think? Let me ask. Do you think you can do the debate can be done well? Because I've been floating about this question for a while and commented upon it in the last few videos of my own, and I see the value of it, and I've had people tell me this. They're like, it's easier because you get both sides, like rather than just listen to one person. So it seems a little bit more authentic, because if I'm just up here telling you my views on something, it's hard to really fact check that. And you can't see like where my blind spots are, where if I have somebody who's a foil there can help do that, and we can talk through things. So I can see the value of that, but you like debate proper. So what I'm doing now on my channel, it's like, I don't even hold debates. I hold discussions. Like this is one of them, of course, but like I hold like live office hours where I just have people come on and I'm like, caution, caution, caution. Note, this is not a debate. Debate is a mastered skill. It's a rhetorical skill. I never learned it, not interested in learning it. You have to be really good at it. And I'm not going to do it. And so I'll have a discussion with you. And I think, so somebody mentioned this to me. They used the analogy of speed chess when it comes to debate. It's like speed chess in the sense that you may be able to beat a grandmaster because they might make a mistake. You're not going to get this high-level philosophy where it's done rigorously in a peer-reviewed journal. You're not going to get that in a debate. And so somebody who's like punch, 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 they're just looking for the other person to make a mistake. And so it has some value perhaps, but you're not going to get any very deep. You're going to stay very surface level.
So it depends on what you want to do, right? So if you want to just have the most rigorous philosophical discussions and debates possible, then those are going to be occurring in books and in journals, period, right? Like that's where they occur. And if you think that you can have an engagement at that same level of rigor on YouTube, you're simply mistaken. It's not going to happen. Now, that's not to say, of course, you can't have a debate on YouTube or elsewhere that is quite rigorous and worthwhile, right? So, like, if you're trying to strike the reason I do things like this myself is because I do think it's worth promoting awareness of philosophy in public, right? And
especially these theological issues as well that are really,
of course, right. Insofar as it supports, insofar as I guess I'm trying as a philosopher to be a good handmaiden to theology. Right. I want to promote philosophical awareness and so forth, and mostly invite people to become interested enough in philosophy to actually start reading philosophy, right? So
but
that's
it's a
why
means to an end.
Right. Yeah, that's why and also I guess some of my motivation is just it's fun and low stakes. It's a fun low stakes way of doing philosophy. I don't have to deal with all the pressure and
Yeah.
And complications that come along with actually getting something published and so forth. So it can be fun in that way. Um, so yeah, I think you just have to understand what this medium is, right?
Yep.
It's for a popular audience. The rigor, the top level of rigor is just not going to be there. Of course, there are good ways of trying to maintain some level of rigor
Yeah.
that I would have
Yeah.
liked to see more of in that debate, right?
We
For
saw
one thing,
some of it, which was really excellent, honestly.
it would have been good to just have more structure for one thing, right? That 5
Yeah.
minutes each person and then just a free for all was too loose.
Yeah.
It would have been helpful to have more structure, more time for an opening statement,
Yeah, for sure.
um, uh, more rigorous guidelines on who can speak when,
Hmm.
and an opportunity to explicitly interrogate the opposing side instead of just and some enforcement on making them actually making the
Yeah.
other side answer questions, not just uh, go off on a tangent about, and all of that will require itself will require a moderator who is themselves has some level of philosophical training to know
Of
when a
course.
question is being avoided and so forth. um so yeah, I think it can be done, of course, right. And this gets back to what I said earlier. I do, but that's never going to get as many clicks as a free for all. It's
Exactly.
never going to get as many clicks. It never will, and there's no world
Yep.
in which that's going to get as many clicks um as a free for all. And if you don't understand that, it's in part because you need to read Plato.
Yeah.
Um, right. I mean, this is just how human beings are, right? The lion's share of human beings are never going to be interested in rigorous philosophical debate. You might get enough people interested in philosophical sparring that looks like rigorous debate to be able to make a living off of it on YouTube, but you're never going to get a huge number of people who are
Yeah.
interested in diving deep on the philosophical details of a question like this, right?
And
Uh, yeah.
you often get people who will, if you try to turn them to the books, the journals, they will just accuse you of appeal to authority or something. And it's like, well, make your argument here. And it's like, dude, this is like a 150 character limit or something. It's like, you can't do that. And they don't understand. And then they've got very little
Yeah.
philosophical training, enough to just make them stupid or make them, hurt themselves. And they're going to call out things that aren't really fallacies. That's not a fallacy. The argument of authority is like, only applies when it's not a relevant authority. This is a relevant authority. You need to go look at it. But it's also like the part of the challenge is like, answer my question, answer everything about it, or else you failed. And I see this attitude in debates too. It's like
Well,
you said earlier,
not
it's
just
like,
that, though. It's not just it's answer my question and
mm-hmm,
answer everything about it,
yep,
but don't tell me to read your published stuff. Which is like,
yeah,
well, it's what you're
it's
asking me to
where,
basically reproduce word for word all my published stuff
yeah,
on Twitter. You just want me to do a Twitter thread of my published work? Is that what you want? I
yeah.
mean,
It's like this
no, I'm happy to
laziness.
send it to you. I'm happy to send it to you for free if that's the
Yeah,
issue. It's
yeah.
just,
Because that's where your best work is. Obviously, it's been peer reviewed, went through tons and tons of revisions. But it's almost this laziness, unfortunately. I hate to use that term, but this idea that people want you to kind of do tricks, perform for them,